everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are on a fantastic day wherever you are around the world. And welcome back to a breaking news episode for you guys today, and that is Calvin Ramsay. Yes, we've spoken about him all summer long, haven't we? Along with the likes of Darwin Núñez and, of course, Fabio Carvalho. But he is now officially a Liverpool player. Liverpool did announce the deal about 2 hours ago. As we can see by here, Liverpool complete the deal to sign Calvin Ramsay, and of course a whole load of photos. Of course, the Melwood. Yeah, I say the Melwood. It's the of course the Kirby lean now as well. But it says the right back joins the Reds on a long-term contract after passing his medical and finalising the transfer at the training centre. I'm not going to say that. Ramsay will get the number 22 shirt as well. Of course, it goes on to say, of course, him getting the Football Writers Young Player of the Year award in Scotland. And of course, 39 games, and I think it was 9 assists last season for Calvin Ramsay. But as you can see, I am joined by a very special guest, and that is Doug from the Dugout Football channel. Doug, instant thoughts, mate. Obviously finally over the line, but what's your reaction? Liverpool finally getting Calvin Ramsay.
First of all, good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me, as always. I have to say I'm absolutely delighted with this move. I think it's a move that we've been needing for a long, long time. Calvin Ramsay is the real deal. Having, you obviously know I watch a lot of Scottish football, so I have seen a lot of Calvin Ramsay in the flesh, and I have to say he is a very, very up and coming player. Reminds me a bit of Trent. He does like to go forward. He does like to defend as well. I think he is a very good backup for Trent now, and I think he will have to bide his time to get game time. But I think it's a move we've been needing because I think the thing is you've got cover for Robertson with Tsimikas. You've got cover for obviously Van Dijk and obviously Matip, with obviously Konate and Gomez. I think right back is somewhere we've been lacking a little bit. Connor Bradley will probably go out on loan now. Neco Williams will probably go to Fulham. So I think right back cover was definitely needed, and I'm absolutely delighted that it's Calvin Ramsay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do agree with you on that as well. 1892 Red Podcast is saying up the Reds. Hello, lads. Hope you're doing a fantastic day. It might be Luke, it might be Ricky. It's a coin toss, or whoever it is. I think it might be Luke because it's a nice comment. Ricky would normally go on about Gini Wijnaldum or Taki Minamino. No, I'm kidding. If it is Rick anyway. But yeah, it's one of these things that I think we've gone on about it for, it seems like, forever. With cover for right back, you look at last season, and I think it has been well known for quite some time that Jurgen doesn't have full trust, I would say, in Neco Williams.
No.
The fact that when Trent was out last season, he opted to go for James Milner. Now, of course, James Milner, in those games that Trent was missing, is probably the most reliable person that you can have in that position. But if Neco Williams is the full replacement for Trent when he's not there, then the fact that Jurgen's not 100% committed in Neco Williams, for me, it goes to show that Liverpool had to go and get a right back of of Calvin Ramsay's quality. I know that he's had one full season, and many people go oh, who's this Calvin Ramsay fella that Liverpool are signing? But when you look at it and you look at his numbers, I think it's I think I think he's get 6 or 7 crosses in per game, and pretty much all of them are pretty much accurate or near enough towards the box. And he is that Trent player that we, of course, it's always going to be, Liverpool are always going to play different without Trent Alexander-Arnold in the team. But as we've seen, with Joe Gomez, when he's gone forward and gone and delivered ball, we've done quite well while Joe Gomez has been right back, but he's not a right back. He's a full-on centre half. But looking at the numbers and looking at the way he's played as well, and Doug, you would have seen a lot more than me, and I know John would have seen a lot more of Calvin Ramsay than me. But just looking at highlights and extended clips of him, he does look like a proper sensible right back that given the right development will do wonderful for Liverpool.
Yeah, 100%. And he was injured a wee bit He was injured for a wee bit this season, and Aberdeen didn't have a very good season. They finished ninth in the Scottish Premiership. Even Livingston and Hibs finished above them, which was quite surprising. Like Aberdeen haven't been in the bottom sort of. They haven't finished near enough sort of ninth place in a long, long time. So the fact that he got the Football Writers Young Player of the Year, I think, says a lot in Calvin Ramsay himself. And yeah, he scored a wonderful goal at Dundee, actually, where he sort of cut inside on his, I think it was a left-footed strike, and it arrowed into the top corner. So, that's something he's got in his game, and he's got his, hi, Ricky, also that he has in his game. He is very, very attacking, but he's very, very pacey going backwards as well. So, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what he can do. And yeah, he has had a few assists this season as well. Breakthrough season, has to be said as well. So good to see him get there. And I think the money that we paid for him, I think will help Aberdeen in the long term. And I think everyone at Aberdeen wishes Calvin Ramsay well, because he obviously came through the youth there, and I think he'll be a very, very good signing for us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think one of the best things, coming to Liverpool as well, of course, there was plenty of offers for Calvin Ramsay elsewhere. There was plenty of game time, that other clubs were offering him. Supposedly Leeds were very, very interested in bringing him in, and a few, European clubs as well. A few people in Germany as well, also interested in Calvin Ramsay, for his services as well. But I think one of the best things, and I think one of the things that did pull him towards Liverpool, of course, was to work under Jurgen Klopp. It was to work under Trent Alexander-Arnold. But I think the other thing, of course, is Andy Robertson, Scottish captain,
yes,
will be a huge factor in that. And it's like you said earlier, Doug. Now we have cover everywhere now at the back. You look at that title. You look at that season where everyone was injured. Jesus Christ, trying to think back to that is a dark place. But when you go back to that, there was no cover for for anyone. But now we've got 4 centre halves that are fit and healthy. 2 right backs and 2 left backs as well. I think what the interesting thing with Calvin Ramsay is as well. Watching his interview, of course, I can't show you guys because I will get copyright strike. But what he said, I can play right back, I can even play in midfield, and I can play on the right wing as well, which Jurgen Klopp does love versatility, and that's a really, really good thing. But I've seen loads of people mention as well, if Calvin Ramsay does come in and impresses, then could Trent go into midfield? Now, this whole thing with Trent going into midfield for me is a load of rubbish. I don't think Trent will ever go right back while Jurgen Klopp, leave right back, I should say, while Jurgen Klopp is at Liverpool Football Club. Potentially, maybe in the future under a different manager, maybe. But while Jurgen is here, no, because he is the best right back in world football, without a shadow of a doubt. But we asked this, Doug, about the, with Darwin Núñez, but what would your expectations be for Calvin Ramsay to come in? For me personally, I'd expect him to get the cup games, and maybe the 1 or 2 league games as well, maybe against lower half opposition, of course, but I fully expect him just to play the cup games this season and try and just have this first year similar to Costas, where he came in, took a year, and then, of course, we've seen the best of him this season. Do you think that's similar, or do you think he might get a bit more game time than we expect? Because, of course, I know it's Scottish football, but he is used to the country style of football. Then I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you've summed that up very well. I think he will get the cup games, and I do think if you look at how Costas has sort of gelled into the team this season, I think it might be sort of a similar thing as well. I do expect him to get the cup games, but it sort of depends if Trent gets injured or not. Then we might see we've actually got a proper right back there now. I think we're gone from the days of seeing James Milner at right back. I think Joe Gomez was a good understudy, I thought, last season. Thought he did really, really well, but I just think when you got a proper right back there, I think it's a no-brainer to play him. And I do think he will get FA Cup. I think he'll get League Cup games. And we may even see him in the Community Shield. You never know. But other than that, you might see him against Strasbourg. Who knows? Actually, Strasbourg could potentially be his debut. Actually, now to think of it, but or Manchester United, what a debut to get yourself into is that game. But in terms of goals and assists, obviously he's a right back, isn't he? So I would say between 5 to 10 assists and maybe one or two goals, I would say. Nothing too major in his first season because he does need to get used to our playing style. But I think I've kind of summed it up a little bit better than I would have usually.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, of course. Hello, it's been a fantastic day, my friend. Saying he's been a bright light in a very poor Aberdeen side, two-footed wing back, European pedigree as well as such a young age. Welcome, Ramsay as well. Yeah, absolutely would agree with you there, my friend. I was saying I expect him to play at least 20 games this season, full last 30 as well. Yeah, it's again. I think it's if things go the way Liverpool hope they do, and of course we have to take into consideration, of course it's a new league, new system for him, will take him time to learn it. But if he can give Trent that rest, of course with 5 substitutions now being applied in the Premier League,
yep,
it would allow Trent, if Liverpool are 3-4 goals up in a game, to give Trent the rest for half an hour, 20 minutes, which in the important games, for example against Manchester City, would allow Trent to have a lot more in his legs, and a lot less minutes in his legs as well. So it could be an interesting factor as well. I mean, I'm really interested to see how teams use this 5 substitutions rule, because I think if people like Burnley, even though Burnley are not in the league, but teams like that just keeps their 5 substitutions until the 90th minute and then make all the 5 substitutions in added time, that I'm not looking forward to whatsoever. He will play half the group games in the Champions League, I think. Very interesting. Well, we did see last year away to, was it Milan? That the whole second team got played, and yeah, Calvin Ramsay would definitely, I think, be given the opportunity to show what he could do as well. 8 assists and 0 goals, I'd be happy with that. Yeah, exactly. I think even 5 for me. If he gets 5 assists this season, then I would be happy with that. But of course, people, I'm already expecting people to comment, 9 goals, 9 assists, or something like that. It'd be interesting to see anyway. But Dave's in as well, saying, the lads. Hello, Dave. Hopefully on a fantastic Sunday, my friend, as well. But Doug, we've mentioned his name briefly, but of course, we look now at the players that are already at Liverpool, with the news of Calvin Ramsay coming in. You've got the likes of Connor Bradley, Neco Williams. Now, supposedly, according to Fulham reporters, or looking at what they've had to say over the weekend, so far they've said that Fulham have put a £10 million bid in for Neco Williams. Now, Liverpool, I think, would be happy with that, like 10, 15 million. I think 15's more the area of where Liverpool are looking at the minute.
Yeah,
but it's the fact that, look, we have this good relationship with Fulham at the minute, don't we? Obviously with Harvey Elliott, and of course Fabio Carvalho coming our way. But would you say 10 million for Neco Williams is right, or do you think Liverpool should be pushing a bit more? Because I think, yes, we've gone on about and said, Klopp, we feel like Klopp doesn't have the full trust in him. But when you look at it, full international, I think he still has, 2 years left on his deal. I think it could even be 3 years on his deal at Liverpool, and has, of course, plenty of experience, in the league and, in other competitions as well. for a right back that in the Premier League as well, do you think that 10, 15? Do you think that's fair valuation by Liverpool for Fulham?
I can see. I can see 10 million plus 5 million in add-ons. I would be happy with that. I think that would be pretty good. I think Liverpool want 15 million for him anyway. I mean, I have seen a few people saying that 20 million is what we should be looking for, but I don't think you're going to get 20 million for Neco Williams, and he needs to play. It's as simple as that. He needs to play World Cup year, of course. So Wales will be wanting him for their World Cup group for sure. And I'm pretty sure as a Welshman you would want Neco Williams for your Wales group team anyway. But yeah, for me, I think if a move came in around 10, 12 million, maybe plus something like 5 million add-ons, 17 million, I would take that for sure. Because again, Neco Williams came through our youth. So that's something to say as well, to sell a youth academy graduate on for about £17 million would be fantastic business.
Yeah, no, I would agree absolutely. And Conor Bradley as well. Do we think that he might stay in the under 23 system, or do we think that he could go out to a? I think to be fair, we mentioned this the other day. I think I can't remember who said it, but someone said Bolton in the chat. I think it might be Chris. Do you think Championship move would be better for Conor Bradley?
I think a Championship move would be a lot better. If I'm being honest, because it gives him a bit of experience in there as well. But to be fair, Bolton have been kind of those teams that kind of are in and around sort of the playoff push almost. I know they weren't last season, but you'd expect them to be probably this season. I mean, Bolton in League One, I think they've been there 2, 3, 4 years now. That's too long for a club like Bolton Wanderers. So needs to kind of try and get up the Championship for me. So I think if he was to go to Bolton, then I think he would be guaranteed game in, game out. I think that would be something to look into. But Championship, you've got a chance to get into the Premier League. I think a Championship move would be my ideal move for Conor Bradley, because we ain't going to sell him, because I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. But I do think that a Championship move would be better for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd agree with you on that. I think that him and is it Owen Beck? I think Owen Beck I think he was voted the best under 23 player last season. I think he had a phenomenal season last year. And of course, he is related to Ian Rush. So that's always good news as well. But guys, let us know your thoughts in the chat as well. If you could as well, please hit that subscribe button. If you're new around here, head over to Doug's channel as well and subscribe. And don't forget to like the video as well, because it does help the algorithm out hugely. So thank you very much to everyone for the support. Yeah, of course, if Hendo plays, he will be laughing. Hendo will mop up any rookie era and guide him through games. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely agree. 10 is very fair, says, yeah, of course, as well. My opinion, Brian Morrissey's in as well. Hello, Brian. Hopefully on a fantastic day. Saying hi, Connor, and hi, Doug, as well. Andrew's saying, I'm happy with our business so far. Ramsay, Carvalho, Nunes. Obviously, we will sell Minamino, Neco Williams, and others. There's talks about Harvey, Jota, Keita, get new contracts potentially this summer. Well, that will be in tonight's video, that we are going to be speaking about that, of course, 9 o'clock tonight, potentially after the Formula One. So if you guys want to check us out, then please come over and check us out at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock tonight. 10 million probably funds the whole academy for 5 years, says, yeah, of course, yeah, potentially, yeah. Jack with the eye emojis. Hello, Jack. Jack, if you want to come on, I will leave you a link in the chat. Actually, hang on. I'll leave you a link in a minute. Let me just read out a few more comments for a moment. Andrew said also Forest are getting Awoni, is it? Or Awani, the former Liverpool striker. Yeah, we sold him last year to, was it Hertha
Union Berlin?
Union Berlin.
Union Berlin. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Liverpool get. I think it's about I think it's like 1.5 million. I think off the deal if he does go to Nottingham Forest, which for me, it's a very, very strange move.
Yeah,
It's yeah. Well, to be fair, me and Doug were just speaking off air about Raheem Sterling going to Chelsea. That's a weird transfer.
that's a very
Um,
strange transfer.
in my opinion, I think it's a very, very weird transfer. Let me quickly put the link. If anyone does want to join and have a say about Calvin Ramsay, Neco Williams, or anything else, it is in the chat down below. I think I've put it in now as well. Be good signing that for Forest. I think he has like he's tall, pacey, and really physical. So if you can get the right man, obviously Steve Cooper, he's done wonders
Yeah.
At Nottingham Forest. So yeah, potentially, it could be a very, very good deal for Nottingham Forest. But I think they're going to spend around, was it 130 million quid? I think this summer, which
Yeah, I saw. Well, they've got money to splash, considering that they've just come up with the championship. So
but
I'd expect them to
we have
be.
seen one team do that before in Fulham, and look how that turned out.
Oh yeah. That was bad. That was very, very bad. But no, I think Taiwo Awoniyi is a player who I think people forgot he was at Liverpool for a long, long time.
Yeah,
But he's actually had a very, very good prolific season in Germany for Union Berlin. Seems to be scoring their goals almost every single week. So, um, I mean, I think it'd be a good move for them. I think it'd be a good move for Forest. But yeah, like you say, it is a bit of a strange one.
yeah, no, I'd agree. I think I think the funniest thing, and I've seen a couple of people on Twitter mention the fact that, and again, I think these are the same people going back to Calvin Ramsey, the fact that he's got 22. And people are like, "Oh, that means Jude Bellingham isn't coming," and I'm like, "For God's sake, like, we've just signed a new right back. For God's sake, like it's
Ah,
you know,
dear.
just because he's got the squad number 22, it's like, well, Jude Bellingham's not coming. It's like, what are you talking about? Shut up." Um, but that's Twitter for you, to be fair. He looked like a tank that Awani in pre-season. Looked like Divok's son. Yeah, to be fair, like I think he had those two good games, and then everyone was like, "Oh, he could be good." Um, he could be good, as a sixth or seventh choice Liverpool attacker. And then I think the next day, then we sold him, so it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not the best. But look, if he comes to the Premier League and does well, then fair play to Forest for identifying it. Because I think he has done well in Germany, hasn't he? To be fair to him, do you guys see any other signings coming to Liverpool? Maybe another attacker, or maybe a goalkeeper, because the goalkeeper situation needs to be addressed. Adrian's gone. Adrian's still here. Andrew. Carrier's gone. Keller will hold talks over his future. For me, I don't think there's any more incomings this summer, personally.
No, no. Unless something big
Dramatic happens.
happens towards the end of the window, then yeah, I think our business is done.
Yeah, I would agree. Forest are giving it a go at least. Yeah, no, exactly, and that's what you'd hope. You'd hope that they can stay up, because of course everyone's going to probably predict them to go back down. That's how it goes. Fulham.
Well, there is talk that Dean Henderson's going there on loan. I think that's a good move for him.
I think the thing is they have to spend it on players that they're going to build around.
Premier League based, I would say.
Yeah, like I think Fulham, like I think they bought, was it Sarri from Nice at the time, and Barcelona were
Yeah,
after him. They bought a couple of other players that wasn't entirely the best, but you look at it, I think we obviously we knew last season that it was very, very hard for all the teams down the bottom to 1 week it would be, of
yeah,
course, Everton in the bottom three, then Burnley would be there, Leeds would be there. I think it's going to be something very similar again, where
yeah. I do as
yeah,
well.
I think between 6 and potentially 7 teams, I think, might be fighting for that bottom three next season. I might be wrong. It might be fully. It might be for example, it could just be 3 teams that are just crap. But I think there are going to be there is going to be a battle again next season, I would say. Anyway, we are joined by another guest. Let me just read. Of course, comment before I do bring Jack on. Can't wait to cheer. Brian Clough is a football genius with the Forest fans. Absolutely love that club. Exactly. They've won more Champions Leagues than Manchester City. Way.
Hey.
Just had to bring that up as well. But Jack, how are we? Are you happy with Calvin Ramsay?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Is my camera blue or my blue? Yeah. Sorry.
You look blue.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not a Smurf anyway.
Where's that lightsaber in the background, lad?
You need it with this face, lad. Yeah, how you doing, boys? Happy Father's Day as well to everyone, and obviously, and yeah, not too bad, mate. Thank you for having me on. I'm not listening to as much transfer news. Obviously, I'll be listening to you and that, boys, but because your head will roll off. But I think we've been listening to you and Doug, mate, and everyone in chat, and we're planning for the future. I tell you what, bringing in obviously an 18-year-old right back. Obviously you're spot on, boys, with the Trent analysis. Really, there's no one better to really learn off in world football than Trent, Calvin Ramsay.
Yeah,
I know the Aberdeen manager said it was a privilege for Ramsay to pick them. I was like, should be the other way around. And I think you said it, Doug, on Twitter yesterday or the day before. It's a privilege for him to come to Liverpool, which it should be. But yeah, happy days, boys. Especially if Carvalho hits the ground running, that we're all hoping, and Nunes. If all the signings have the desired impact, then it's looking really promising. And I think I don't know if it's the Ramsay transfer or something that brings the age range down by quite a lot.
I think it does. Yeah,
I think I said this a couple of days ago. I think the last 6 transfers now for Liverpool brings the average age now of 20. I think, which is ridiculous. Because I think we spoke about it. The Liverpool squad being the 5th or 6th most aging squad in the league. These signings have brought that down, tremendously well. But yeah, let me read out a few more comments. Everyone on Twitter are speaking about the number 10 shirt for us. Could it be Carvalho's number? It's a very strange one. I don't think anyone's getting number 10. I think 10 is
Carvalho's number 28, as far as I'm aware.
I think you might be right, Doug. Forest are the kind of team that won't yo-yo if they go down. They might not be back up for a while, in my opinion. Yeah, that's the thing. They're not like Norwich and Fulham that are just up and down. Because I don't even want to know the odds for Norwich staying up already this season, to be fair. But we talk about I was going to mention this tonight, but we'll mention it now as well, Doug, with the rumors about Joe Gomez getting a new deal, and of course the likes of Harvey Elliott, Naby Keita getting a new deal. Do you think that is Liverpool's business now? We've already spoken about, we don't expect any transfers to come in. Do we think that it will just be now contract extensions and people leaving the club from now until the end of the window?
Yes, I think so. I think it'll be a priority to get Oxlade-Chamberlain, I think, off the wage books. By the way, congratulations to Ox. Don't know if anyone's known, but he got engaged to Perry Edwards yesterday.
Highlight of his season.
For God's sake, Kendo.
Yeah, that is.
And his 2 goals. Don't forget those back-to-back goals in the AFCON period as well. Can't remember.
Oh yeah, that is very, very true indeed. But no, congratulations to Ox. But yeah, I think he wants to go back down to London. To be honest with you, I think the big priority is Salah. I think that is massively needed.
What do you mean? It's Naby Keita.
Don't believe in all the nonsense that's coming out about Mohamed Salah. Anyway, yes, Naby Keita, I think he will get a new contract. I think that is probably a certainty. as well. And then it's just about getting players off the wage bill. I mean, Takumi Minamino, I'll be sad to see him go. He always does very, very well for like a fourth, fifth choice attacker anyway. And last season was really, really good. I think 10 goals in all comps last season. Very, very good season for Taki as well. And then obviously Neco Williams, Phillips, Connor Bradley. Just about getting players out of the club now, I think, because we all know the Jurgen Klopp does not like a big squad.
I think he got really mad, didn't he, towards the end of the season, where he was like, I've got a big squad, but I can't play. Like, I think he wanted to play Ox, didn't he, against Southampton, but couldn't because he already had, James Milner and Harvey Elliott, where he wanted to play Ox, but he couldn't. But yeah, it's one of these weird things that I think, Jack, when I look at it, and we've spoken about Forest and teams like that. Ox. I know Curtis Jones has also been mentioned where Nottingham Forest is concerned as well. But could you see anyone from Liverpool going and joining the newly promoted teams, or do you think that they'll go to Ox? I think Southampton's also been mentioned as well. But where do you think the people could end up if they did leave Liverpool this summer?
I just spoke to you and Doug, haven't I, this week in relation to obviously Nico. I think it'd suit Forest, especially if his Spence does get his move to Tottenham. I think that's on the back boiler at the minute, because it suit their system down to a T really in terms of their full backs. Curtis, it's very heavily dependent on Curtis on loan. I don't want this notion of him leaving because he's 20-odd, 21. If we were to loan him out and we did bring in a midfielder who would be a guaranteed starter, then potentially you could loan him out, but he'd have to be guaranteed game time. I'm not going to be loaning him out where he's not going to be getting game time, because it's absolute pointless exercise, and we've been there, done that with certain other players over the last couple of years as well. Thing with Harvey Elliott when he was at Fulham, he was guaranteed, and then we loaned him back out, didn't we? Was it last?
Blackburn.
Blackburn, sorry, yeah. Yeah, at Blackburn, he was getting guaranteed minutes. So you could understand why we done that. I think when you look, if you're a new promotion side or you're, say, 10th to 20th in the league, in the Premier League, you're wanting to look at like fringe players from the likes of Liverpool, City, in terms of their fifth, sixth choice players in those positions. Because obviously, if you're good enough to play, well, be in the academy or whatnot at those clubs, then you most important, you very much should be suitable to be able to play from 10 downwards in the Premier League. So for me, yeah, I can see potentially, but as I said, I'm made up, as you mentioned there, Con Gomez. We all of us are fully agreement, and I'm quite sure everyone in chat, none of us wanted him to go, because we've been here, done that with the year before last, in terms when we didn't have centre halves, and we were like, oh, do we only be playing? It only takes, say, 1 or 2 weeks for players to get injured, and you're looking like, oh, who have we got now? Bringing Kabak again. So
yeah, I believe Kabak is away to Nice, so that won't be happening.
Is he?
Yep.
I feel sorry for the lad. He mustn't. It's mad, innit? Because he come with a glowing reputation, especially in his younger ages in German football.
Yeah,
he was quite regarded as potentially one for the future. But the fact that he can't hold down a position, I reckon that's potentially down to his agent and down to being in bad teams. If you get me, because if you're down there in the relegation zone every single season, you're gonna get.
Schalke just want him off their wage bill, to be honest with you. They just want them off.
But look how bad they dealt with him last year. I think it was deadline day, joined Norwich on loan. And you're like, when you look at like before he joined Liverpool, he turned down the move to go to Newcastle for I think it was like £17 million that Newcastle were going to give Schalke. And you think about it like that, it's like, for someone that, I think he did okay for Liverpool. Don't get me wrong. He wasn't, amazing. He wasn't, this unbelievable player, because quite clearly, we let him go and got Canate, which was the right decision.
We've had worse centre backs at the club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've had a lot of bad centre backs at the club.
Kyrgiakos.
Don't mention them. Don't mention them.
Yeah, that's Kostas' dad. You can't be saying that.
But there's like, and you look at it, and on the market, it's this thing with strikers as well. Like, I think strikers and centre halves, there are not a lot. Like, obviously, there's centre backs and strikers on the market, but to take you on the next level, like like with Darwin Núñez, for example, I think me and you, Jack, spoke about it. There's only him and Christopher Nkunku that was on the market for Liverpool realistically. That Liverpool could have gone for. You look at centre halves, there's obviously people out there that we don't think of out the box, and teams scout this and that. It's like Calvin Ramsay. Nobody knew Liverpool were going to go after Calvin Ramsay in December. Nobody knew, but Liverpool and Michael Edwards and and Jurgen Klopp, they knew back then that they were going to go for him.
There's not a preference of talent, is the boys. I mean, we've all said this in chat as well. Say about 10 years ago, you're probably like, yeah, at least a top 10 in every single position. You knew, and quite a lot of them were quite young. But you look at now, apart from Haaland and Mbappe, they're the two main forwards. That's young talent. Then Núñez was in like the 5th or 6th type, like top 6, if you want to class them as potential raw talents. And as you said, there, but who's gone as well. Centre halves, apart from Van Dijk, who's the top 5 young centre halves that are like playing at that elite level. Apart from obviously Militao potentially at Real Madrid, and then I'm probably forgetting like an obvious name, so apologies. But this moment in time, there's not, as I said, not a preference of great talent at a young age playing at the elite level. I think in the next couple of years, you probably will see a bit more development. But it's the fact that Man United is like, you'd think United that the situation they're in the club, they'd be buying Tom, Dick and Harry like they have done over the last 5-6 years, but they're not really. Ten Hag's like, wait there, we're not going to be signing them. Or saying,
Ten Hag's finding out already that even if you're like a big name in Holland, that there's players that certainly don't want to move. Like I don't know if anyone's seen, and obviously take it with a pinch of salt. Jurriën Timber, apparently Louis van Gaal has actually said he's actually blocked the move. He actually said to Timber, well, you're not going to be playing in the Holland team if you go to United to be on a bench player. So, you know what? I think we're looking at very, very good talent. The Dutch league is definitely one place to look for. Portugal, yeah, Portugal. Loads of players coming from Portugal now, because obviously, PSG are getting Vitinha, the Matheus Núñez, who I think could potentially go into Wolves, which is another fantastic signing for them as well. So a lot of good talent coming from like the Portuguese and the Dutch leagues as well.
I just love it, boys. As soon as we signed Núñez and as soon as we've signed Diaz, all of yours went not too bad in the Portuguese league. Liverpool have signed them. It's like it's mad. Like I bet you all those top clubs have been scouting a lot of Portuguese talent like prior to the last 12 months, and they probably went. I bet a load of top clubs brushed aside Diaz, but as soon as Liverpool or Spurs put the bid in and Liverpool went for them, especially 50, 60 odd million, I reckon there will be a couple of odd flops. Not every signing from the Portuguese league is going to be top level, but it's the fact that over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, all the top teams in Europe have been signing Portuguese league players. It's really quite funny.
The whole Portuguese league fans have just gone like, "Why are you taking all of our players for the last week or two?"
Portuguese Southampton's in it. Go on.
Well, to be fair, it's but it's been known for a while that top talent comes out of Portugal. At the Portuguese league, and you look back, Cristiano Ronaldo, a huge, example for it. But more recently, yeah, exactly. But you look at it as well, Bernardo Silva. I know Bernardo Silva went to Monaco, after his stint in Portugal, but still, and of course, more recently, we know as well with, Luis Diaz, people, they look at leagues like, the Portuguese league, or even the Eredivisie, and look, well, it's Holland or it's Portugal, it's not this, that, and the other. But quite clearly, there are some amazing players from those leagues that, you can get on the cheap, but of course, some do pay massively over the odds and get it wrong. But you look at, I think, go on, Jack.
It's that notion of a Farmers League. All they say out of Farmers League, not that
the French league, that is.
Yeah. Uber Eats, Christ, when you'll get free Mackies. But yeah, it's this thing, boys and Jack. If you're a top player, you can play in any league, and it's all about what Jurgen does best. Jurgen develops the best coaches in world football, get the best out of their players and develop them over a couple of years and make them an elite level player. So it's all about whoever puts the most effort in as well. Not everyone becomes a footballer. Like any job, if you put your work in your own craft, then you can develop what you do best.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I do agree with you. And guys, let us know your thoughts as well in the comments down below. As well, Ox scoring another tap in. For God's sake, I thought they were already married. I thought they was as well, but no, they are now engaged. So congratulations to Ox as well. Jack has hit the nail on the head. There, his agent shafted him with some terrible moves. Yeah, Norwich in the Premier League isn't the best, is it? For a move in Coco next year for 50 lads.
Is that true, Brian? It is. I tell you what, it's funny that PSG let him go, didn't he? Christ. He was on their books and he scored past him. Was it last year?
Well, to be fair, we haven't really mentioned it, Jack. I'll get your thoughts because I got Doug's thoughts off air. But Raheem Sterling to Chelsea,
it'll go anywhere the money is, mate.
Exactly. Exactly. But do we find it weird that we don't really want to speak about Manchester City, but do you think it's weird the fact that Sterling's going, Mahrez is going, Gabriel Jesus is going, Zinchenko's going, and yes, they Cucurella, and I think it's Calvin Phillips as well that's supposed to be coming in the door as well. But I don't know. I just think City are just getting rid of too many players. Obviously, Liverpool have been accused of this as well, letting go of Taki, Divock, and Sadio Mane, but I just feel like City are getting rid of too many players than what Liverpool are at the minute.
It was quite City fans, for some reason, over the last 12 months, they don't like Sterling. It was only until he started scoring last season he was scoring the goals that helps him win leagues and that.
He ain't world class. Sorry, I've said this for a number of weeks now. Raheem Sterling is not world class. Yeah, I don't care if he's won. Don't care if he's won so many Premier Leagues as well. But the talent is there. The talent is there. He just doesn't produce it on a number of occasions.
Yeah, because didn't he get I don't know the stats on him really, but yeah, as Doug said, I wouldn't put him on a level of Mane or like a Neymar.
Nope.
Left-sided. I know everyone dislikes Neymar, but I think if you look at on the left-hand side, Mane and Neymar over the last 5 years have been up there. But Sterling, as Doug said, he's got that potential, and we haven't seen it on a regular cadence. I think if he would have done it in the Champions League and helped City win the Champions League, I think that potentially would have elevated his game and would have made him better. But as I said, he follows the money, and fair play to him anyway. I think he's a London lad. He was from QPR when we signed him.
Yeah, QPR was where we got him from.
Yeah, so a lot of his family probably do live down south anyway. So obviously you can't blame the lads. Go move further to his family. Hopefully he doesn't do another BBC interview in a couple of weeks. Might do a Gary Neville one soon. And then do a Harry Kane. And then absolutely. But yeah, when you're a City forward, you're not guaranteed game time. When you're a Liverpool attacking a good one, then you're more or less guaranteed because obviously our squad depth is not as deep in those attacking areas. Julian Alvarez, is it? I don't know if he's going to be getting straight into the City forward line, but he looks like a more or less a replacement for Aguero, which is quite scary. I know that's going to be a hard task in itself, but he's a little talent anyway.
Well, presumably, like we've obviously been speaking about, Bernardo Silva wanting out, Mahrez wanting out. Apparently, Gundogan wants out.
That'd be
as
big
well.
if Gundogan. I'd take Gundogan. I know we wouldn't get him, but I think that is a player that I'd love. It's the thing, though, isn't it? When you have that many good players, and that's what Jurgen Klopp does so well, and Pep Guardiola, both of them manage their players to an elite level in terms of personnel-wise. I think Guardiola knows himself. If a player turns around and says, "Oh, I want more game time," Pep just goes, "Yes, sounds. I'll transfer this year if someone comes in for you, and I'll replace you the following year." Similar with Klopp as well. And Klopp's not stood in Mane's way. It was quite obvious that Mane let Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp know 6 months before, wasn't it? That's why we brought in Diaz, which was absolutely top class by Mane. He could have just whinged for the next 12 months, ran down his contract and said, "Right, I'm not leaving. I'm going to get a bigger signing on bonus from Real Madrid, Bayern Munich next season." But yeah, it's if they did lose him, it's going to be City though, boys, isn't it? And chat, they'll replace him with more quality. So if we were speaking about another club other than City, then potentially, if any club lost the quality of City in those attacking areas, they'd be in trouble. But it's City. They'll go out and spend another 50, 60, 80 odd million on more attacking talent up front.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do agree with you. I'm actually looking at Sterling's numbers now. And
didn't he have like a good season? Was it like 2-3 seasons ago? Like he got like
double
digits?
Not the season, just gone the season before. Yeah, he he was up there when he. I think it was just before. Was it just before the Euros?
I think it was.
Yeah, it was. But looking at his numbers now, and he's in the top 80% for dribbling the ball with like successive carries and progressive carries and that. But he's in the top 92% for non-penalty goals. So he bags them in for City. It is just mad how they do disrespect him. Because looking at it and looking at Mahrez's numbers now, on statistics, Sterling's better. But yeah, if you look at him, I think Mahrez probably. I think City fans want to stay more than Sterling. On the face of it, but of course that's Manchester City, and
I think
gives a shit about them.
I think if you play in City system, I think that's what the Hope and Grealish can do. Got the back post, similar with City, the way they play. If you can overload the back post or the right hand side as well with crosses, we seen that. Was it the back end of the season when they played Villa last game of the season? The Gundogan running in from the far post. The way City played, he literally pass it across the 6-yard box, and he plays so well. Same with Liverpool. Hopefully, Núñez is getting on those balls for us this season and goaling them up those goals.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him play. I think it's only it's 6 weeks now.
It's not too long ago.
It's 2 weeks until the start of pre-season, and then it's 6 weeks until the first league game of the season. So,
thanks for mentioning Wayden. Thank you.
There you go. Thank you very much, Doug. the days are coming closer, Douglas. Ramsay is only a backup right back for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yeah, no, he is the backup right back. But of course, like he did say, he can play at centre mid and right wing as well. So, shout for Jurgen. But there as well. If Diaz does what he did when he first came in for the second half of last season, he does incredible in pre-season. He's going to have to defend us on strings again. Him, Núñez, and Salah. That's going to be scary. Yeah, I would agree. Can't wait to see what they do. To be fair, try watching a full 90 minutes of Liga NOS match, and you will run your hair out. There generally should be a 45 minutes at a time. At the end of every game, they all roll around the whole match as well. I remember watching Benfica and Porto last season, and it was about 15 minutes of just pure fouls, which was brilliant as well. Brian says, 50 million release clause next summer for, I think that's Christopher Nkunku as well. That's mad that. Be interesting to see how it goes for him. I always thought he'd go United this season if they didn't get Nunes. But of course, we got Nunes, so happy days. Popular opinion, I'd have Sterling back all day, every day for 50. Absolutely not. I wouldn't have Raheem Sterling anywhere near Liverpool.
Might actually win a Champions League. Well, that's all point of leaving. Yeah.
Has he still got that prick of a agent, AD Ward?
I think he got rid of him. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think he got rid of him.
Chat, do your stuff. Find out.
Yeah, let us know, chat, anyway. But yeah, I think he did get rid of him, to be fair. Pep has taken all the flair out of Sterling. Chelsea will be the same. He's not exciting to watch anymore. No, he's
Chelsea don't create many chances, chat, do they? Like that's the thing. Like if you're in a team that creates loads of chances, you're gonna get like 1 or 2 goals. But Sterling in a Chelsea side, that could be interesting to see. I think he might struggle at Chelsea. Actually,
I genuinely think this is a plan B because they couldn't get Ousmane Dembele in for Chelsea.
Yeah,
I think it is just a pure plan B. If it's
well,
not, then...
to be honest with you, who would want a Dembulance at Chelsea?
It's quite it's a bit mad though, isn't it?
Get the fuck off my stream.
What time are we on here? Yeah, it's nearly 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's nearly 3 o'clock in the day.
I hate you so much, Douglas. For God's sake. But yeah, I think, look, Jesus Christ, I hate you so much.
I enjoyed it.
Liverpool hopefully will sign more players. I think, yeah, this is it now for the summer. No Liverpool signings coming in now, unless something dramatic happens, of course.
Yeah, I think that would underscore potentially. I think Liverpool will probably go on like a bit of poker. Like we're boxed off, and then if we were negotiating with a club behind closed doors and we don't know about it, then, or if something happens where, say, someone comes in for a player like Diaz last summer in January, if someone goes for one of our targets, I don't think we'll be sitting on our hands going, oh, yeah, you can have them. I think it'll be a case of if we desperately want a player and another team goes in for them, then we'll go in for them. But it's clever by Jurgen and Liverpool in terms of scouting to say, right, Sam, we're done. And that's why I think City are not panicking, but I think City are understanding what Guardiola's looking at Liverpool going. They're changing stuff up for next season. Obviously, Mane, Nunes, not like for like, but they're putting a freshness into this squad. Obviously, they would have probably been looking at Carvalho as well for a potential signing for them as well. So Pep knows the quality and the other managers in the league that Liverpool put in the squad. But yeah, I don't think we're just done. I think it's just a bit of poker. Because there's still quite a long way to go, isn't it? Another month or month and a half?
There's still another 2 months.
September
1st. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've got ages. Yeah.
I think it's 11. Is it 11 p.m. now, or is it 7 p.m.?
11.
Is it 11? Again, I think, look, it's... And plus, as well, there could always be, we've spoken about Jude Bellingham, obviously, in countless videos, but of course, there's still the potential of a pre-agreed contract for next summer as well. There's always the potential for it. Of course, like Jack said, if the reports are true about Real Madrid sniffing around Jude Bellingham, it wouldn't surprise me if Liverpool just acted straight away on Jude Bellingham anyway. But Zinchenko off to Cucurella joins Everton, maybe. I think Zinchenko deserves to go to a better club than Everton.
I'll be honest here. Zinchenko's not a left back. It's been proven for a long, long time. He seems to be more of a left-sided midfielder, sort of central midfielder. That's what he is. He played that role against Scotland and was really, really impressive. So I think if whoever Zinchenko goes to, he's not playing left back. I think he's definitely playing centre midfield.
He'll massively improve whoever he goes to. But Cucurella, I really do rate Cucurella. Especially when we played Brighton in the past, and especially when he absolutely battered Man United back end of the season. But was it Twitter? Surely we can't score past 4 times by Brighton.
Oh, what an amazing season last season was. But the thing is for Cucurella for me, and I know Pep will probably get him changed and that, like he's always playing as a of a left side of a three as a back. He's never left wing back, and even when they've gone for like Brighton don't play with a four at all. And I don't know. I just think maybe it might just be me thinking it, but I don't know if Pep will. Obviously, he is there for left back, but whether or not obviously Cancelo will be the number one left back there unless they change it around next season anyway. But who could think will win, or who do we think will win the Premier League trophy next season?
Nunes is going to get 30 Premier League goals next season. Up to that.
I hope you're right. But yeah, spoilers, Liverpool. Chelsea want to seek Ziyech as well. For me, Klopp could turn him into a world-class player. I think we spoke about him 2018, 2019?
Yeah, that Ajax team was quite good. I think all of us would have expected a lot more from Hakim Ziyech. He's really disappointed. I don't know if it's down to the system. Obviously, he played in a 4-3-3 system at Ajax a couple of years ago, and I think he's a Chelsea player 3-5-2 or 3-4-3 or whatever they do. He's just wasted out there. It comes down to, as we were saying, top of the show, everyone. If you get brought into another club, it's all down to you to put a shift in and develop. I think Ziyech, he's gone to Chelsea, bright lights of London, and just stopped trying, really, which you can understand. It's difficult.
Christ.
Yeah. Everywhere for a couple of million.
Sebastian Haller is going to Borussia Dortmund.
Is he?
That's a good sign.
From Ajax. Yeah. Sebastian Haller to BVB from Ajax is at the final stage. Contract until 2027. No surprise here since the last April 16th.
That's I think that's a really weird transfer.
From Eintracht Frankfurt to West Ham to Ajax to Borussia Dortmund.
That's a really good sign. When you look at Haaland, he was quite physical, wasn't he? And then obviously Adeyemi, you've got your lightning pace. But what you need, no one in world football could have replaced what Haaland done, could you? It's like similar with Liverpool when we lost Suarez. It was impossible to replace him. I think what Dortmund is trying to do there as well, Chas, don't know how you lads feel, is try and replace him with possibly 2-3 players, if you possibly can. Because that's the one thing, if Haaland didn't score, then Dortmund didn't tend to really score goals. Marco Reus was in and out last season with injury. Hazard doesn't chip in really. Julian Brandt's been a bit dry in terms of the goal output as well. So, yeah, I think that's a very shrewd sign. I think if you look at what he does for that, and if you get the ball in the 6-yard box, he'll score your goals. And that was proven last year, especially in the Champions League.
We look at Marlon, for example. Remember last year when we didn't get Marlon and everyone was in a panic. He hasn't done much in the Bundesliga under Dortmund, and Haller last season completely destroyed the Champions League. He battered teams. I know that Benfica game where they didn't score, and of course Darwin Núñez scored the winner to get them to go through. But even then, we were all shocked because Haller had been. I think he scored 9 Champions League goals last season. Yeah. It's unbelievable last year. So yeah, it's good move. I think it's a little bit weird though, but I do agree with Jack. I think it's going to be Dortmund are going to replace him 3 or 4 players in the window. Anyway, Ziyech, Werner, Lukaku, and Pulisic. Apparently, he's happy to sell any of them. Well, Lukaku's gone.
I hope Inter, lads. I hope Inter aren't that stupid to sign Lukaku for 80 million. Don't give them a single penny. If they want Lukaku off the books, don't be paying anywhere upwards of 20 mil. I know his market value would.
They've said, don't they? Chelsea apparently wants 15 million in loan fees for Lukaku.
No.
What?
Yeah. It's just that's ridiculous. But
get to France with that. Jesus Christ.
It's the thing though as well. When we look at it and we look at Liverpool and City and so on. For me, I think Liverpool, City, and Spurs have done out of the top 6 have done the best so far in terms of sorting out the squads, in terms of, they know who they want to get rid of, they know who they want to bring in, and they've got their plan sorted. Arsenal, in no man's land for me. I think that they don't have a clue who they want. But then
that's an understatement.
No, it is an understatement.
You give Nketiah a 5-year deal. I'm like, what are you doing?
They're giving Nketiah the number 14 shirt. That's a bloody insult to Thierry Henry.
No, but for me, I think Arsenal are a step up from Manchester United and Chelsea this summer, because them two, they don't have a clue what they're doing. Like Chelsea need a striker. No one's getting rumoured, no one's getting talked about. They're selling Lukaku, they're selling Werner. Man United supposedly was meant to have this amazing summer where Ten Hag comes in, meant to rebuild everything, and they haven't done anything.
I would have expected a lot of those players to be out the door. Well, as we said last season, similar to Liverpool, when we had all our dross under Roy and obviously back end of Kenny's tenure, it's difficult to get all these players off the wage bill. I swear we had Aquilani for more years than we actually had him for. He was on quite a lot, and Jovanovic, swear to God, he was on literally 100 to 150 K. We were one of the worst teams in the league. We had a big outlay on wages, but we weren't winning league titles. We'd watch Man United win title after title. So United will have a lot of those players on their wage budget, which is great, absolutely fantastic. But they won't learn. They'll go out and buy Paul Pogba in 2 years for another 80 million.
It's like Hello was unstoppable in the Champions League last year. Good signing, says Brian. And do we reignite interest in Doku? For the player, yeah, sure, but not for the injuries. He's so injured at the minute. It's ridiculous.
I don't even rate him as a player. He's another FIFA player. I've not
FIFA player.
Same with that lad we just mentioned there, Con and Doug, Marlon. What's he done in Bundesliga last season? I know next 12 months could be pivotal and he could develop a lot more, but these names that you hear branded around, I think I don't know how you lads feel. If you can play in the Premier League and you play well, that's a good indication. And obviously, if you've got real quality, you need to be consistent over a couple of years. Not that these players have not signed these players that have a good 6 months. But yeah, sorry, Doku. Doku's just shit. I'm sorry.
I remember me and you watching a French league game, and it was we saw him for about 10 minutes, and then we were like, "Is he still on the pitch?" Because we couldn't see him again.
I think it was the Belgium game. Everyone was on Twitter going,
Belgium, Italy.
Yeah, and he come on and he was like Usain Bolt. He was so quick. I was like, yeah, he's quick, him. But it was a little 10-minute cameo, and then whole of Twitter blew up going, "This lad's good." I'm like, oh no.
God's sake. But yeah, to be fair, guys, as well, there's looking at Twitter now, to be fair, and Raheem Sterling at Chelsea is done, supposedly.
How much is it? 50 million?
35 million, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't say price tag, but it says it's done. So
is that by the tapping merchants? Is it?
No, it's by is it Damasio? I think by him, he said it. So, I think it's probably less done anyway.
But do you reckon they're replacing Sterling with then? Grealish, is it? A guaranteed starter down that left?
I think someone else comes in. I think someone else comes in for City, personally. But
Neymar, wait, what?
Oh, don't start that, please.
Nah, I'd love Neymar to come into the league just so he just gets absolutely volleyed every single week. He'll feign injury for 3 years.
Can't wait for him to be in Nat Phillips' back pocket.
He'd end up in the stand at Forest.
No, that's true. The Chelsea owner give Tuchel a full say on transfers. He probably wasn't expecting to get a list of highly expensive failed transfers he wanted out as well. Yeah, no, that's true as well. And Andrew says, I think Harvey and Carvalho link-up play will cause a lot of teams problems as well. Yeah, can't wait for it this season, to be fair anyway. But guys, we are going to leave it there because it has been an hour. Of course, we have mentioned, of course, Calvin Ramsay, officially a Liverpool player. We've also spoken about, loads of other things, well, contract situations. Also spoken about transfers, other teams as well, but mainly and most importantly, Calvin Ramsay is officially a Liverpool player, which thank God, transfers now most likely done for Liverpool, but of course the window is still open, and of course any news that breaks will bring it straight to you anyway. But big thank you to my guests, of course, Jack Mack LFC, and I say Jack Mack, it's Jack McKenna TV, and Doug from the Dugout Football channel as well. Doug, anything to say before we do head off, and anything coming up on your channel, mate?
No, I'm going to work on my wedding speech now.
Oh, that's a nervous preparation.
Doug's going to be sat in his room crying. He's going to be like, right, real tearjerker here, all something to hit.
I'm glad Doug's just going to record it as it's an emotional speech, and all of us just crying in the chat as well. But Jack, have you got anything coming up on your channel? I doubt it because you hate transfer windows.
Yeah. I'll try and do something tonight, mate. Obviously, I don't even know. I just want the league to start. I know it gets you the views, doesn't it? Though the transfers and ranting about transfers or moaning about wanting transfers, and you want this player and you want that player in. I enjoy it, but as you can tell from the activity on my channel recently, I don't really enjoy it. But I think I might try and do some different content before the season does start. Try and pump out a couple of bits as well, mate. But thank you for having me on, mate. Great to speak to Doug as always.
Absolute pleasure, man.
Yeah, and everyone in chat, absolute legends. Really do appreciate everyone for tuning in on Connor's show. If you haven't already done so, make sure you are smashing that like button as well. We'll just help Connor and Doug. And thank you to everyone for supporting all the lads' channels and mine as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. I think we've got about 16 people in here at a minute, so thank you very much for everyone that has tuned in as well. And Brian asks, before we do it off, will they go for Dembele now too? I would think not now because Sterling's gone there, but Dembele is on a free, so it would just be contracts. And
I think if the as we mentioned before, boys, if they can get rid of a Timo Werner or Ziyech, if it was reported that Brian was saying that he wanted, I think, as he said there, boys, if you can get rid of those two players, because those players will be on a lot of wages, so will Dembele. But if you can get one or two players out, I think Chelsea would potentially bring in Dembele. It all depends on wages. It makes sense. Tuchel managed him at Dortmund. So, yeah, if you cross your T's, dot your I's, makes sense, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And guys, thank you to everyone that has been in the chat as well. I do very much appreciate each and every single one of you as well. We're going to be back tomorrow. I won't be back tonight because, of course, we'll speak about Joe Gomez and everything tomorrow, because I think there might be some other news as well that might break between now and tomorrow as well anyway. But that will literally be it now. I think it'll just be contracts and all that good stuff. But anything else we'll bring to you no matter what on the channel anyway. But big thanks to everyone in the chat. Like I did say, big thanks to the two fellas as well. And hopefully see you all tomorrow at 9 o'clock for some more videos. But yeah, until then, guys, that's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cup Council. See you then. Ta-ra.